Okay, AT&T. AT&T, I'm in your shop. I don't really want to bother people that are working because they're all busy, okay? And we're just going to let them work with customers. But let me tell you why I'm here, AT&T. For starters, this phone's messing up. I basically have right here, look at this. That SD9801 right there is one of your cable underground boxes. It's right across from, I believe, the Palms Church. Okay, and let's see, we have Hughes is west of it. Del Mar Auto is on the corner. Southern California Hospital's on the other side. Brotman Physicians Plaza is on the other side of Venice Boulevard. Okay, and the name of the church out in it. Okay, it's the church where I'm staying at 9733 Delmas Terrace, 3700 South. I had a $500 guitar ripped off, also with a $300 pickup, okay, from a guy named Gregory. That Ron, who runs the church, told me he witnessed stalking me in my vehicle. I mean, not my vehicle, my tent. And when I asked him who took it, Ron says, I know who took it. Gregory took it. So Gregory is this homeless guy who actually lives in his red convertible. It's like a tiny bit off color burgundy. And he was taking photographs of me for several days. And I didn't say much because, I just get sick and tired of it. I thought, oh, he's a homeless guy, maybe it's because I'm exciting, God knows. Well, he ended up getting caught ripping off my car, taking photographs. We found out he's part of Team Wallace. So basically what I want to tell you is I still have to make a report on the ripped off guitar. And I'm also going to call Bellingham Police Department because they already have a tracking record and a report on my stolen backpack, which is right here, that they had to retrieve through 3 hands. So when the gang stalkers get a little worried, that thing showed up real quick. So by the time I'm done with this tracking record and report with LAPD, I might do it with Culver City, because guess what LAPD did? Maybe it was Culver City too. It was 2 different cop cars, 2 different colors. I couldn't get the other one. It went by too fast. But that cart I was using that was given to me by Bryce, that black man, because he knew I had nothing to carry my stuff in. He'd actually taken it from Sprouts, not me, but all my stuff is now out of the cart because LAPD showed up. The moment I went into O'Reilly's to buy myself like a pliers or something to take off the screw, because what Sprouts did, okay, Sprouts is behind it too. Sprouts called about the cart. All of a sudden, the cart was stuck. You know how that little yellow thing folds over the wheels? Well, they got to complain about it for that to happen. So we're also taking down Sprouts, who actually called the police when they knew I was outside of O'Reilly's. And they tried to bust me for taking off that cuff so that I could continue pushing my stuff, because the crooked cop cartel stole both of my vehicles. Remember this illegal agent cartel that's gang stalking me through 9 states? These same gang stalkers outside are the ones who assaulted me with 6 vehicular homicides so severe that I gave my vehicle away after putting $5,000 into it. I gave it away to Torea, my mom's friend in Hot Springs, where I'd went to pick her up because she was being severely gang stalked. Her life was in danger. She didn't even know. So I went up there to pick her up. I decided to not leave the same way I arrived, by vehicle, that we'd fly out in plane, because I realized there was a chance of me and my mother being murdered in this vehicle that I had drove from Los Angeles the last time I was here to Hot Springs to get her. And let me tell you, the gang stalking was through every state. I'm talking Nevada, Utah, South Dakota, Wyoming. I mean, it was brutal. I actually stopped in Salt Lake City, and I had the pleasure of meeting about 4 deputies there that had been called by aliases, reporting that they had a crazed tweaker. They were afraid she was going to hurt herself or someone else in the parking lot. When I was just standing there, it's because of my blacklisted record saying I'm incompetent twice by Wallace. So they showed up and they knew exactly who I was, and they said, listen, everything's fine. We know what's going on. We know you're fine. We just want to show up and make sure you're okay. They actually showed up for me. And we started talking about the crooked cop cartel and the Mexican cartel that's being hired over the borders. That's why the borders are open. And they said, you know what, we know about it. We don't know what to do about it. We don't like it. We feel paralyzed. We feel helpless. So basically, By the time they left, they gave me all their first names, and then they said, guess what, we love you. And I'm talking 4 cops. So basically what I'm down here for is I'm going to save law enforcement. So LAPD, maybe Culver City too, whoever's in this area, they showed up to try and arrest me. So I got my stuff, my belongings out of the cart as fast as I possibly could. I sprayed it down so there was no DNA on it, and I threw it up by a tree in the parking lot, okay? So there's no way that they could frame me for this cart. I was already framed by Reading Police Department, remember, with a $680 ticket. And you know, that's completely fraud. You can see that on the Layara Fortune 1967, Layara Fortune 67 account. That's LEHARRA Fortune .67 or 1967, but you're going to see the images and video of the assault that I endured by the Reading police. It was domestic abuse. You wouldn't have believed it. They took my mom's phone out of my hand and threw it on the ground while the California Fire Patrol, there's a fire department across from the Reading Library, were watching in horror, mouths down. They couldn't believe the frisking. It was domestic abuse, the way they were handling my body and pushing me around. And what they had came to do is they said, you almost got arrested. They kept telling me over and over, you almost got, for taking a shopping cart that had been planted strategically right in front of me and my mom, because the crooked Reading police the night before tried to rip off my belongings when they wouldn't allow me into the storage unit at the Good News Mission to even grab them. They told me if I come on the property, I'll be arrested. Thank God my mom was still there. The next morning, she was able to retrieve my belongings. As she's bringing them out, she spotted a cart. She's like, hey, let's grab that shopping cart and put your stuff in it. I'll put my purse. I said, great. So she grabbed the shopping cart. It was right out there by the Good News Mission on the street. And it was about 50 years old. So he grabbed it, pushed it down to the library. The next thing you know, I said, 2 Reading cops show up on bicycles, armed guns. I mean, it was a takedown. I'll show you that ticket. And then the night before, remember, the Reading police showed up at the Good News Mission, and they it was a couple nights before, they threw me out on the street, tried to steal my belongings. Well, it wasn't about a day or two later that it was freezing, icy rain cold, and my mom had she was sick. She was spitting up green phlegm. Her eye was red and puffy. She was having a hard time sleeping. She was actually wheezing, which she never wheezed. I was scared. Anyway, they threw her out for loitering when she had gone inside where everybody eats, the cafeteria area at the Good News Mission in Reading. They threw her out on the street with nowhere to go, and she came up to me on the corner where I was, and she said, oh my God, Leah, they threw me out. I'm 81 years old and I'm sick. So that's what's going on. We also got evidence of that also on the Layara Fortune 1967 or the Layara Fortune 67 account. You're going to be mortified at the police that showed up and threw me off the premises where my belongings were being stored in the storage unit. The first set of cops were so terrified. You should see this blonde dude driving the deputy car. I started talking about Mark Monk Hubbard's murder and Circe Wallace's, participation with the Mount Shasta police. They could not wait to get out fast enough because they knew it was true and they didn't want it recorded. They were terrified about protecting their force because the Reading police are working also with Robert Gibson and the crooked Santa Cruz police and Capitola Police Department. All that aside, I wanted to tell you, AT&T, I went in to buy another phone at Best Buy. As you know, I returned this. You remember this. I'm going to pull it out. I had to blow up, remember, my titanium iPhone 15. As you know, this is a brand new iPhone 15, and I had blew it up the other day because Circe Wallace planted a bug in it, and I couldn't even make an emergency phone call. So I knew instantly she'd done this before. If I had said, yeah, I'll reset my phone so it works, she would have been able to get into my account, that Facebook that I have with Yuri Podlachikov that she wants to sabotage. I knew right then and there she wanted to make sure the good cops didn't win and that Yuri Podlachikov wasn't free. So what I basically did is, in a quick nutshell, I blew it up so that the cops could see it. And guess what? That black guard, the one with the long fake extensions down there that works at Mod Pizza, what Starbucks is, she tried to get me in trouble for blowing up the cell phone because my life is seriously in danger, and she darn well knows that I have to protect my accounts. I even let her know about them, and she still tried to get me in trouble. You see, jealousy is the number one emotion that drives this disgustingly murderous illegal agent cartel that's in the thousands now through 9 states. Guess who's paying for it? Taxpayers. Guess who's paying for all of the new migrants being shipped over the border in Mexico, getting hired for the crooked cop cartels? Guess who's paying for that? You are. So that's why the cities are going to hell. Not only are we transporting Mexican natives from their own country, we're now smuggling in the Middle East, China, India, Iran, all these countries, from all over the world are being transported. Where did I say? Yeah, India is number one. Middle East, number one. Africa, number one. China, those are some of the strongest cities that they're hustling in millions of migrants illegally over the border, and then your tax dollars are paying for their apartment, their vehicle, as they join the crooked cop cartel. So basically what the crooked cop cartel does is they hire these migrants in the Mexican cartel to do the gang stalking, the abducting, they do the hired kills, they smuggle the drugs, they sell the drugs, they do the abducting, they do gang raping. What else do they do? Did I say it all? Gang stalking, that's a number one. Oh, they orchestrate vehicular homicides. That's a specialty of theirs. That's why I got rid of my Subaru. The same son of a bitches that tried to murder me in my vehicle are still out here trying to get to me on foot. And I knew it would be a little harder for them to get to me on foot because I could get inside. I wouldn't be on the road. And that's another reason why Circe Wallace utilized her alias in Burian, the Honda, to try to force us into a Soul Kia so she could get us on the road and do a nice little vehicular homicide on me and my mom. That was the reason I got out of that vehicle, and also the reason that they wouldn't give us our $500 back and kept telling us, no, you can get insurance. They kept pushing it, having insurance companies calling us. We're like, we don't want the vehicle. Stop having insurance companies call us. We want our money back. They would not give it back. I literally had to scare them by calling the police. The police knew about it, putting up uploads on social media. They finally gave us our money back. And when we finally got the $500 back, Circe Wallace still attempted another time. She froze my mom's account. She killed her PIN, so her PIN didn't work. We had to go into Washington Federal and talk to them for about 15 minutes on the phone until my mom had access and proved it was her to get to her money. Well, as you know, I just tried to buy a phone the other day at Best Buy for $199, and Ricardo, who's a little Latino guy there, says, it's weird. He says, well, you have insufficient funds. I said, no, I don't. I said, I got money in there. I called American Savings, let them know what was happening. They worked on my account. Next thing you know, I got to my money. And American Savings had it. They've had it with the bank cartel, because they already know that Circe Wallace is the bank cartel with Wasserman, and she tried to rip off $1,200 out of my American Savings account with the witness of the bank, American Savings. They also have the witness of a manager in Washington Federal in West Seattle who witnessed we had about $2,000 in the bank account. About a week later, $23, and there were there's no report of purchases. There was no even deposit of my check. She stole my last Social Security check. There was no evidence of withdrawals, deposits, purchases. Completely wiped clean. And she also wiped clean the $1,000 transfer I did with Wells Fargo. When I purchased my Subaru, I had American Savings transfer $1,000 verbally that they've been doing with me for years, and that was also erased out of Wells Fargo, the evidence of that transfer for $1,000 to Tulsa, the Sikh who owned that vehicle I bought it from. So you can see we've had her kill digital information at Chase Bank. I just went to Chase Bank the other day, and guess what? I stuck my card in. I've only had it 2 weeks, and my PIN wouldn't work. I went to several places. I couldn't even purchase merchandise. And where my card got rigged was I went to a Chase Bank, and I know that the employees of the Chase Bank are involved because 2 of their machines weren't working. There was 3 ATMs. Only 1 was working, and when I put my card in there, that thing started acting up, telling me I put my wrong PIN number in when I'd been buying stuff all week everywhere at stores. Next thing I know, I couldn't couldn't even access my money. My PIN was frozen. So I went into the store to see if it worked there, and it said insufficient funds. I call up my bank. They're like, no, you got money in there. So basically what's going on is, you can see we're dealing with not only the cell phone cartel, because I purchased 2 phones from Best Buy today by a girl named Sandra, and I brought the phone back that I had purchased because I had this funny feeling it was hacked. I hadn't even set it up yet. I brought back, it was not a Motorola, it was one of those like $129 cheap phones out of Best Buy. Well, anyway, she went to set it up because, you know, I told her, I want you to deal with this in case it won't work, because the last phone I bought from you in Santa Cruz, they have on record, they knew was broken and didn't work when I took it. So I said, I want to make sure that you're behind this, that you witness if this isn't working, if it's hacked, because remember, all cell phones now, I mean every single one of them are hacked before they even arrive at, you know, AT&T, T-Mobile, you know, it's in, get it? It's before even these giant corporations who sell cell phones, before they even get them on their shelves, they've been pre-hacked and then sealed. So we proved that because we went over to Best Buy, and this was still in the box, hadn't even been used. She opens it up, starts to set it up, and she's like, this phone is no good. So she gets a second phone, a Motorola. Sandra will tell you, and it was hacked too. It would not hold a pin. It wouldn't hold a pass. She literally had to get online, I think with Motorola or somebody, and about 10 minutes she worked on this phone until she got it to hold a pin number. So there you go. And I said, Sandra, that's 2 phones. She goes, well, I said, you're my cartel bitch. And then I saw Ricardo in there. And I said, you're my witness that there was insufficient funds. And he's like, yep. And the 2 of them are standing together like they popped the case. They're like, yep, she is the Cellphone cartel. I had Best Buy admit that I was pretty clever, because 2 phones straight out of a box, not even used, were hacked, just like this. That's why AT&T is going to get me a new iPhone as soon as I have an address. It's a landline. We're going to get me a new phone. I was so pleased. I felt so loved, because I knew when I purchased this phone it was severely hacked in Bellingham. It wasn't even my name. It was in a guy's name named Matthew Hargrave. And again, you can see the evidence of that on my Layara Fortune 1967 account. You're going to see it wasn't even in my name. And I tried to download apps, open up emails. I couldn't do a thing until I left Washington, because the towers are different. So basically what we're going to do is, I'm here at AT&T to let them know that this dude ripped off my guitar. Gregory, he's popped. But it was the funniest thing, AT&T, of all places he would be parked in front of, is your underground cable box. And there's the number SD9801. And there is a parking meter. It's PM 89. But I just want to show you, AT&T, how you're part of my world. And I love the owners, and these employees are working hard. I didn't really want to have to bother them. I don't think they care. I got all the evidence, and sure, it's recorded. They can re-listen. We love you, AT&T. Look at stripes in here. Lucky us. 2 stripes. 2 shirts with stripes. See? I think we came to the right spot. So anyway, we love you. Turning out. I'm going to head back to the church where I'm safe. I'll stick the tent up, figure out what to do tomorrow. Again, now I do not have a shopping cart to move my belongings, because LAPD, or who knows, Culver City could have been involved. God knows, it was right down here. But I got a picture of these cops, and they were in kind of like a light olive, looked like uniform. I got the back of one of the cars, so this is a takedown, and they were staring at me the whole time. I was standing at the cart down by the wheel. They were looking at me, walking towards me. I thought, oh my God, they're gonna bust me. So that's when I took everything out of that cart. Can you believe the crooked cop cartel would still be after me when there's a killing contract on my life by the Santa Cruz Capitola Police, signed by Mount Shasta Police Department's chief, Robert Gibson, that they'd have the audacity to try to set me up again so they can blacklist my record, get those handcuffs on me, and kill me? It's a bust. My grandmother, Susan Fortune, worked for LAPD in Hollywood for 20 years. She's rolling in heaven. Trust me, more stripes. But I'll tell you, the fact that LAPD would dare disrespect me, Luna, you're doing a terrible fucking job. What's your problem? We know Alex Villanueva was framed for the deputy gangs that are still out on the streets run by Wasserman. They didn't want Alex in there because Alex Villanueva knows about my grandmother, and he's investigated my case. I mean, in detail under a microscope for God knows 5 years. He knows everything about me. I mean, we're actually friends. I used to hop online on his lives almost every day and tell him I love him, send him hearts. He'd look up and wink. God bless this beautiful family, and don't get angry. We're here for Jesus Christ. That's right, folks. Jesus Christ. There goes that beautiful family. We love you, gorgeous. Okay, enough. I'm going to leave these guys alone. I love you, AT&T. We love you. We love you. Tuning out. Tuning out. Beautiful black people. My favorite race. That's right, my blacks. I'm black. Don't forget. Love you.